Hey guys, I'm Chris.
I'm Kathy.
Today we want to talk about doing our pre-trip inspections before we go each day. The first thing to keep in mind is that it needs to be logged on your Omnitrax, your electronic logs. So the first thing you want to do is put yourself on duty. That's something that DOT can actually look at to see if you're actually logging your time and how much time you're using. People say usually don't want to do the exact same thing every day, but you don't want to cut yourself short either. I've actually heard a driver say that the DOT actually had him demonstrate how he did his entire inspection in 4 minutes one time. So that's something to keep in mind. It needs to be realistic when you're doing it. I mean, you really need to do your inspection. It can save you a lot of trouble later on the road because things happen at inopportune times, and on a on-ramp is not the time to find out that there's something wrong. So the first thing you want to do is put yourself on duty, and then you can go through the process of checking everything. Before you, at bare minimum, you need to check your tires, your lights, at least a visual inspection of your basic fluids and stuff like your coolant, oil if you can. And also windshield washer fluid. That's always an important one that we use a lot of sometimes and don't realize it. And
inclement weather, and then the DOT.
Especially. And you are required to have it. Just like when you first get your CDLs and you're going through the test there, they want you to spray the windshield and the wipers. They'll do that on level 3. And if you don't have windshield washer fluid, then that's a violation, so.
That's very important when you're in inclement weather, and I mean, you cannot see.
Right. You want to make sure you have the de-icer.
Yeah, can't see.
Because even with the de-icer, and if you're in extreme cold, you might even want the -30, but you at least want -20 to help melt some of the ice off your wipers, because that's going to be one of the biggest problems you have is just trying to see through the windshield,
right,
and all the ice freezing on the wiper blades. So
right,
you'll have to stop and clean that off a few times, and the de-icer really helps.
Or even if you go through bug season, it's warm in Florida.
Oh yeah.
Love bugs, they're all over the windshield, so you have to have something to help you be able to see.
And they have different formulas for the different times of year. There's actually one that's designed just for bugs. It's supposed to help with that, which
Usually you'll be able to buy it wherever you're at.
Right.
I mean, if it's extremely cold and you're in South Dakota, they're going to have the right stuff when you go in at every Love's or TA or whatever you do. But so each driver, we split up our driving each day. So each driver has to get on. I get on in the mornings usually, and I'll do my 10 to 13 minute inspection. And then when we switch drivers, he'll get on and he'll do his inspection. And that's what we do every day. And then we'll log it in on the Omnitrax.
Inspections usually take anywhere between 8 and 12 minutes, something like that. If you actually get out and walk around and check everything you should check.
Right.
And, okay, so we'll show you how we go around the truck and check those things. You always want to make sure you check your washer fluid. If you run out of washer fluid and DOT does a roadside inspection and you can't spray the windshield, that is a violation and they will fine you for that. So always make sure you have windshield washer fluid, and if it's wintertime, you need the de-icer. It needs to be at least to -20 below. The washer fluid, added some to it. Another thing, you will always check your hoses, make sure all your clamps are secure everywhere there's a hose. Also check your belts. Make sure that they're not frayed, they're not dried, cracked. This is almost a new truck, so everything is pretty much new here, but still you need to check everything before you take off. Check visually is your coolant. We are a little bit low here, so I'm gonna add some. I've never had to add it, but over time it does kind of go away. So we should be up to this first line here, and we are a little below that, so we're gonna go ahead and add some coolant. On this side is the oil dipstick, so it's a good time to check your oil. And always wipe off the old oil. You can see the minimum and maximum mark. You definitely need to be somewhere in between here, as close to the max as possible without being over the max. So to check it, we're just going to put it back in. Let's sit for a second, pull it back out, and we're right at the max line, so we're good. Next, we're going to check the tires, make sure they're inflated properly. You can buy these tire knockers at any truck stop. Basically, it's got a little weight inside of it, it's wood. But you just want to tap the tire. The tire knocker should just bounce off of it. You can tell if the tire is flat or deflated. Should all sound the same, and you should get a little bit of a bounce back on the tire knocker. If you don't get that, you might want to pull up to a pump and your tire gauge and inflate the tires. These newer Freightliner Cascadia trucks, you actually have tire pressure monitoring. So this will give your tire pressure, so it's one way to look at it. The truck's still cold, so there's one that's not reading yet. That happens sometimes when they're cold. But in addition to checking the tires outside, you can always do a quick glance here. Okay, next we're going to do our light test. These Freightliners, they have an actual button that says light test. You press it up here, and this will cycle through all the different lights, and I'll show you what that looks like outside. Okay, so after you press the light test button inside the truck, you can see the lights go through each cycle. You got the fog lights, you got the turn lights, the headlights. So everything flashes one after the other so that you can check all of your lights. And you can do this as you walk around the truck. Okay, and on the back of the truck, we're going to do the same thing. As you can see, all the tail lights are on. And they'll flash one side and the other side. There's the backup lights. There we go. So all of our lights are working. Okay, so now after we've completed our inspection, we have to log it here on our Omnitrax. So been on duty, we'll press the home key and go to the inspection. And here we want to do new VIR, and got my name and truck number. We need a number for the trailer. Since we're a straight truck, it's the same number as for the tractor. And there were no defects, so we're selecting no defects, and then submit. Submit again, and after the vehicle inspection is submitted, it'll pop up this notification saying that it has been sent. So it's done, and now it is actually logged here. You can go back and see that your past vehicle inspections as you've done them. As you can see, the one today says today. It's also highlighted new. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps.